Well, this guide is for the Module 105 MAN, Assignment 1, which is a group presentation. Students are expected to meet three learning outcomes. Learning outcomes 1, identify and discuss leadership and management theories applicable to a specific organization. Learning outcome 2, discuss and explore the motivational theories applied within specific organization to achieve specific goals. And finally, also to meet learning outcome 3, which is having the knowledge of team building to meet desired goals. So that also identifies the team models, theories associated with building a very strong team to enhance performance. Now, I'll give you an overview of what the presentation needs to cover in this assignment 1. Introduction. The introduction set the scenes for your academic presentation, which is in a summary exploring the scope and structure of what actually you're going to talk about. Some of the contents that you may include would be the organizational background, the organizational chart. Organizational chart is very important to cross-reference when you be critically analyzing your leadership styles, leadership theory, and management theory. It may also include the services and products. Services and products are again very important when you be discussing motivation in terms of operations motivations to enhance performance within an operational perspective. And if you look at my slide, I've also included here the logo of my organization. In the next slide, I've identified the leadership and management theory, which is learning outcome 1, and reflected on a range of leadership theories that we have covered: trait theory, commitment theory, relationship theory, behavioral theory. And also, you may want to reflect on the difference between leader versus manager. I've here identified two main leadership theories that applies to my organization. Situational theory, adapted by Mullins and Christie, 2016, and transformational theory, adapted Pearce et al., 2006. Notice that my models are cited using Harvard style. And instead of just bringing up a prescriptive approach of your leadership and management theory, I urge you to apply your theories to specific situations within your organization. And remember to be very critical the pros and cons of that application. Next, you may want to include the leadership styles for your chosen organization. Here, I've looked at various leadership styles. I've identified situational theory, which is applicable to my organization. And again, Kate Lewin there, 1939, cited in Body, autocratic, laissez-faire, and democratic approaches of leadership styles. And again, remember to make sure that the leadership styles identified are applied to your organizations, citing specific examples, bringing critical analysis as well on advantages and disadvantages of that type of leadership style. I've also included here motivations. Again, this is learning outcome 2. I've reflected on the motivation theories that we have covered, which is McGregor, theory Y and X. Has Brexit 2 factor theory as well there. But I've identified two specific models that applies to my organization, and that is McGregor theory X and Y, and Maslow's hierarchy of needs, Cohen Kelly, 2015, page 49. And again, a reminder that you need to bring in critical analysis and apply to specific examples within your organization. The next slide here, I've included the teams in performance, which is learning outcome 3. I've identified two models that applies to my organization. Tuckman's 5-stage group development, which is forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. And also I've reflected on the Belbin-Ross using the Venn diagram here, bringing in critical analysis to various roles, bringing together the monitor, evaluator, plan, specialist. So all the roles that deals with the thinking aspect, and all the roles that deals with interfacing and people management, with those that actually brings in action within the team dynamics. Again, making sure that you bring in critical analysis in applying the models or the theory of team building. I've also reflected here the punctuated equilibrium theory, which we covered in this session as well, as an option. In the conclusion there, again, I've put in sort of a summary of what is likely to be in your conclusion. And this is the leadership and management theory, which you have applied within the organization, the approaches to motivation, the theory and approach there, and the role of teams and power dynamics and operation and performance. Again, whilst there on the conclusion, I need to highlight and emphasize that critical analysis is very important, and you need also to revisit the marking scheme, which is always at the end of the brief assignment, just to give you an overview of what that entails. Knowledge and understanding constitute about 30% of the assignment, and critical analysis and application of theory 30%. So it is important for you to make sure that you bring in critical analysis within your presentations, just like you have to do when writing a report. And then the quality research constitute about 20%. So citation using Harvard referencing, very important. And I have to emphasize that these have to be academic sources. Avoid Wikipedia by all means. Then we'll be looking at also the presentation style, constituting about 20%. Very important there that your presentation flows from introduction right to the conclusion. And not only that, but within your presentation, you also need to make sure that you use verbal and non-verbal communication to captivate your audience. After the conclusion, we expect you to list the references that you have used, because this is an academic assignment. I hope and trust that this guide has been very helpful.